Hey guys, it's Sagar from TechWorks. In this video, we are finally going to compare the cameras on the OnePlus 6 and the Asus Zenfone 5Z. Both these phones have mostly similar specifications, and they also compete very closely in terms of pricing. Cameras are one of the differentiating factors between these two phones, and apparently, they are also a deciding factor for many of the users. Hopefully by the end of this video, you guys will have a clear idea about which one of these two cameras suit you the best. Before we even begin, let me tell you to clear your mind and try not to watch this video with a preconceived notion that one of these smartphones has a much better camera than the other, because you might be surprised with the results at the end. OnePlus 6 starts at 34,999 rupees, whereas the Asus Zenfone 5Z starts from 29,999 rupees. So there's a 5,000 rupees difference between the price of these two smartphones, and you should keep that in mind while we compare these two. We have a lot of image and video samples to go through, so instead of mentioning all the camera specs, I will leave this slide up. You can pause the video here to check and compare the specifications if you want. Couple of things to keep in mind. Although OnePlus 6 has a higher megapixel count of the two, Zenfone 5Z has a larger individual pixel size, so it captures more light and information. And optical image stabilization on both the primary cameras is always active while taking photos. Both these phones are running the latest software which is available at the time of uploading this video. Latest software update for the Zenfone 5Z enabled RAW plus JPG file support for Pro mode. It also added panorama mode and on-off button for EIS while shooting videos in 30 FPS. I feel all these features should have been in the camera app since the beginning, and other improvements like better HDR and auto exposure did not improve the camera performance by much, at least in my testing. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get to the image and video samples. But before that, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the amazing videos coming up on this channel. In daytime, primary camera on both the phones capture crisp and sharp images. Although the conditions are pretty overcast, there is no shortness of detail in these shots. If you look closer, Zenfone 5Z has a wider field of view. It has a 24mm lens on the primary camera, while the OnePlus 6 has a 25mm lens. There are plenty of details in these pictures, but the 5Z shows a bit more contrast, so some of its images seem to have a bit more depth. When compared side by side, images from the 5Z seem tad bit saturated and punchy, while the OnePlus 6 shows true colors of the scene. By default, OnePlus 6 shows a better dynamic range when the HDR mode is not enabled. Asus seems a bit aggressive with its processing when you switch to the HDR mode, whereas OnePlus is a bit subtle in its HDR implementation. In the end, both end up with good images with the HDR mode enabled. With OnePlus 6, you can take 2x images, but since both the lenses have a similar focal length, these images are just digitally cropped in. Zenfone on the other hand has a wide secondary lens. It allows you to take much wider images like these. Since the secondary camera has a lower megapixel count, quality of these images is not as good as the ones from the primary camera. But this lens still gives you a chance to capture a unique perspective of the scene. In situations like these, it comes in very handy when you want to get more of the scene in one shot and you have no more space to move back. Here is a quick focusing speed test before we move on to the close-up shots. Both are quick at switching the focus from near to far objects. OnePlus is a tad bit faster, but the difference is barely visible. Coming to the close-up shots, images from both look really good at a glance. But as you take a closer look, main subject that you are trying to capture is a bit softer in the images from the OnePlus 6, whereas it is much sharper and detailed in the images from the Zenfone 5Z. These kind of things are only noticed if you compare these images side by side. Otherwise, both the images are equally good on their own. Thanks to the wide aperture on both primary cameras, you can get very nice bokeh in the background if you are close enough to the subject. While shooting portrait mode images, you can control the amount of blur in the background on the Zenfone 5Z. Both phones do a good job of detecting the subject and isolating it from the background. But I still prefer portrait shots from the OnePlus 6 since it looks more subtle in comparison and shows a much better dynamic range of the two. Dynamic range on the Zenfone 5Z goes down as you switch to the portrait mode. Asus did release a software update to improve the auto exposure and HDR functionality, but even after that update, I did not see any major improvement with the dynamic range in portrait mode. Just look at these images. it feels like they were taken in different lighting conditions, which was not the case. OnePlus 6 also blew up the highlights in the background, but it still managed to properly expose the subject, so its images look better. OnePlus again takes much sharper and better looking portrait shots in artificial lighting conditions. If Asus can fix this exposure issue, I think Zenfone 5Z is capable of taking some amazing portrait shots, as it is very good at detecting the edges and separating the background. Right now, OnePlus 6 is my pick of the two for taking portrait shots. For normal daytime shots, I think both the phones are equally good, with OnePlus 6 showing a slightly better dynamic range. If you are someone who shoots most of your images in daylight, you can pick up any of these two phones and you will end up with good looking images. Things start to change as we move to artificial or low lighting conditions. OnePlus starts capturing a bit warmer colors compared to the Zenfone. Overall images and colors are still looking good from both the phones, but images from the OnePlus start looking a lot softer in comparison. Now if you look at any of these images individually, you won't notice any of these things, and images from the OnePlus look just as good on their own. In this image, OnePlus tried to bump up the ISO to compensate for the lower light, and as a result, captured a lot of noise. Zenfone 5Z has a larger individual pixel size of the two, and that is helping it capture more light, resulting in more detailed images. Again, you can see OnePlus capturing a lot of noise in an attempt to capture brighter image. In this particular image, OnePlus has added a lot of sharpening in post-processing, but the image from the 5Z is more natural and shows more accurate representation of how the graffiti wall was actually looking. Now I was blown away with the amount of light that the Zenfone 5Z captured in these next set of images. It doesn't even feel like both are capturing the same scene in same lighting conditions. Yes, there is a lot of noise and almost no details if you zoom in on these images. But if you barely have any light in the scene and you still need to take a picture, I would rather choose Zenfone 5Z to take that picture over the OnePlus 6. Both the phones have OIS to help keep shutter open for more time in these situations, but it doesn't seem to be working very well for the OnePlus 6 in any of these images. You can definitely use flash to add light to your low light shots, but if you have people in the shot, just make sure that you are at least 4 or 5 feet away from them, else their skin tones will be completely blown out. I did not expect there to be such a huge difference in the low light performance, but when it comes to these situations, Zenfone 5Z seems to blow the OnePlus 6 out of the competition. Coming to the front facing camera. 16 megapixel sensor on the OnePlus 6 captures more details and natural looking skin tones of the two. But the Zenfone 5Z offers a wider field of view, so you can get more of your friends in the shot. OnePlus also captures better contrast and shows slightly better dynamic range. Both can also take portrait images with the front facing cameras, and both are doing a good job at detecting the edges, provided the background is not very busy. Both have improved their front facing portrait mode with software updates, and it is difficult to choose a winner here. But if I had to pick one, I will have to go with the OnePlus 6, since it captures more details and better dynamic range. But if you have multiple people in the shot, Zenfone does a better job of keeping all of them in the focus. Here is a video sample from the front facing camera of the Asus Zenfone 5Z and the OnePlus 6. Both have electronic stabilization, but the frame on the OnePlus 6 seems a little cropped in. You might have noticed that the audio recorded by the OnePlus 6 is much better of the two. For videos, both have OIS on the primary cameras, but they don't make use of it all of the time. If you have seen my detailed camera review of both these phones, I have clearly shown that OIS is only active while shooting 60 fps videos, while 30 fps videos are electronically stabilized. Also, OIS and EIS never work together to stabilize the footage. Both can shoot videos in up to 4K resolution at 60 fps. I prefer the stabilization and the overall video from the OnePlus 6 since it looks more pleasing to me. Both can shoot buttery smooth 240 fps videos in 1080p resolution, and here are a few examples of that. These slow motion videos look cool, but just make sure that you are shooting them in well lit outdoor conditions, or else they will just be dark and show a lot of light flickering. On the OnePlus 6, you can also take 480 fps videos at 720p resolution. We have seen over 60 image and video samples in various conditions, and here is a recap of how these phones have performed. Both capture a lot of details and do a good job when there is plenty of light. OnePlus offers better dynamic range in most conditions. Asus is better at close-up shots. Edge detection is good for both while taking portrait shots, but OnePlus handles the exposure well and captures natural looking portrait shots. Zenfone completely outperforms the OnePlus 6 when it comes to low light photography. OnePlus shows better results with the front facing camera, both with normal and portrait shots. And according to me, OnePlus is again slightly ahead of the Zenfone 5Z in terms of video capture. There are some areas where OnePlus is a clear winner and some situations where Zenfone 5Z stands out. Which one wins actually depends on your liking and preferences. I take most of my images in daylight and I especially love taking portrait shots and videos, so my pick is OnePlus 6. I also feel its camera interface is a bit easier of the two. But this might not be how you guys use your smartphone cameras. If you shoot lot of daylight and portrait shots, and if you need better dynamic range in your shots, then go with the OnePlus 6. But if you're someone who takes a lot of low light or indoor images, then Zenfone 5Z will be better suited for your needs. That being said, whichever phone you go for, you are going to be able to take really good images with it. Zenfone 5Z is capable of taking even better images if Asus can really fix the exposure issue with one of the future software updates. I said really fix because in my opinion, the latest software update did not bring any major improvements as they have claimed. So what kind of photography do you guys do? And depending on that, which of these two smartphone cameras will be better for your needs? Let me know in the comments. If you plan on getting any one of these phones, I will appreciate if you get them from the purchase links in the description section. It helps the channel a lot at no extra cost to you. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if this video was helpful for you and also subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.